Hi everybody, welcome back to FTL Fridays. We are nearing the end of our mission here with the Osprey1, which is the Federation cruiser. We are heading up Sector 6 today. If you remember from the last episode, we finished up this hostile sector. We actually went through there pretty well. If you remember this one here, we hit up quite a few nodes and we ended up doing pretty well. We got some extra stuff where our ship is looking better. It's certainly not the best so far, but we got enough scrap and enough stuff to basically make one final push. So now we're looking at these last two civilian sectors here to hopefully get enough scrap to level up the rest of our systems a little bit and make one final push for that mothership. The way it's going now, I don't have any really overpowered weapons right now. The only thing that could make this loadout better is if I find a weapon pre-igniter, so I'm pretty much saving most of my scrap now until the very tail end of Sector 7. Because if I find a weapon pre-igniter, these burst lasers are going to be much more effective. So that's what we're looking for. We'll see what we can actually get here. So it's a civilian sector. That should mean that it's relatively non-hostile, but we'll find out soon enough, I guess. Alright, so looking at this sector, we're starting out with a bunch of nebula stuff. So we know with the nebula, the fleet's going to be a little bit slower behind, and we can't really get out of it very quick. So the real question is, how can we get to the exit? So I'm thinking of... we'll stay in here for a little bit and see how the fuel goes as far as that goes, and then how the fleet comes up behind. But I'm thinking of going down and then across these four and then up here and then maybe down and around here, so we can get to the exit from either here or here. Both of those are fine. I feel like our ship is probably tough enough where we can survive most of the stuff in here, even though I'm planning on doing 5 consecutive nodes inside a nebula. That is a little bit risky because of the possible energy drain. So we'll see how this goes here. We have a little bit we can spare in shields, but had not anticipated intruders on board, though. Fortunately, our Mantis can handle those, I think. I did forget, though, that we are in a nebula, so we don't got any scanners. This would be one instance where if we had a slug, that would be really helpful. Fortunately, I keep a guy in the door room, so I'll be able to find out where they actually are. And actually, I don't even really need to know where they are. I'm going to do one of these here and just start... I'm going to start choking them out. So it doesn't matter where they are, because all the rooms that they could be in are now vented. And so... yeah, wherever they end up choosing to go, I can just send some guys there afterwards. So let's open this up here. They are trying to get in a weapon room, so I'll send these guys in here just in the unlikely event that they do get in, which they did. Alright, so I'm going to pause this here. I'm going to close all the things. I'm going to get this on standby. Make sure I don't lose anybody. I shouldn't lose anybody. Alright, so we'll send these guys first. So overall, that wasn't too bad. So, the only thing was there's 3 of them. That's why they were somewhat tougher. But had I not moved my guys in there, they would have hit this here, and then I would have taken hull damage. If I could have found a way to just lure them into my health room, that would have been easy pickings, but we got by nonetheless. So one node at a time. Alright, so now we have major energy drain, plus we have a fight here. So once we get into the fight, we'll see what we need to do here. So they just have ion weapons and this one little laser, so that's not really a problem. What I'm thinking about doing here is we don't have missiles, so we don't have to worry about evasion. I don't have to worry about health. I'm going to make sure I get my shields maxed out because they're going to be doing a lot of ion stuff there. So what I think, I can't tell if they have shields. It doesn't look like they do. So what I will do is I will just let my burst laser do its thing. And my artillery beam will charge up eventually. I'm just gonna fire away at their weapons, and that should be enough to win here. So just good enough. So he's hitting my shields, which is okay. One more volley of burst laser, and I think he's going to be done for anyways. So anyone that's unfamiliar with stealth will know that when they're stealth, your weapons don't actually charge. So that's always something to be aware of. But ultimately, this guy is pretty much done for. So based on what I'm seeing so far, it looks like the energy drain here looks like it's half of your entire system is basically what it is, because it's been getting progressively larger. It started out with only like 3, and now it's like 8 or 9. It's pretty rough stuff. So you have to have minimal systems, and in this case here, obviously shields was the best way to go. I wish it did more damage, but artillery beam should finish him off, almost. I could have pulled the plug on oxygen and artillery and put up the other burst laser, but we've already run into oxygen issues once or twice. I prefer not to get too careless with that, so we'll not play fast and loose with our oxygen reserves. So, no fleet yet. That's pretty much a textbook example of being in the nebula. Nothing here. Still no fleet. Can't spend all day in here though because of the obviously the fuel cost. So, all right, we activated a weapon. No need for aggression. 65 scrap plus 2 of this, and they want a bribe. So, the fact that this is over 50, I don't think I'm going to get more than that from attacking. So I'm just going to take that. Being that I'm inside the nebula, I don't want to risk anything more than I have to. So now we can leave the nebula, which is what I wanted to do. Since there's a distress beacon here, I feel like I'm going to go to that one. I just got to count out how many nodes we're looking at as far as fuel goes, because we can get there with 1, 2, and then 3. That would end us with 13, assuming that we didn't get any other ones. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm actually going to backtrack here, and then we'll come up around the bottom here and hit the distress. And then depending how fast the fleet moves then, we'll just work our way up here instead. So that should be sufficient enough. We just have to make sure we recharge our systems now. So they want, I'm afraid I can't offer this here, so we'll just say no to that. While I'm here, I'll recharge my systems. There we go, and we got the 2 left for combat drone if we need it. We do have quite a bit of scrap, so we're sitting pretty good. There's a distress here. It's going to cost me 1 fuel, and then basically it's 2 fuel for 1 thing. I don't know if it's going to be worth it. I feel like the distress beacons are always a good thing to pursue. They tend to offer the most possible scrap, so we got 43 scrap and 2 fuel. So we got the fuel back that it cost to get in there, and we got scrap out of it, so I'm content with that. Alright, so let's see what we got here. Nothing? Alright, next distress. We are going to have to work our way straight up here, I think. I don't think we're going to have much time with the fleet now that we're out of the nebula. So we'll make a hasty exit here and get out alive. So basically they're lost and they want help. I'll lead them to their destination. I don't have a problem with that. They gave me 34 scrap just for promising to do so. You don't have to lead them now. The quest is way over here. That's a smidge out of the way. I may have to leave these guys high and dry. I'm definitely going to hit up this store. If there's a weapon pre-igniter in there, I'm definitely getting it. It's long overdue, if we're being honest here. Cloaking, Clone Bay, and Teleporter. None of those are really beneficial. Hull Repair I don't need because of the augment that I have. Fuel, I could always use fuel. Boarding drone is kind of nice. Requires 3 power, so I'd have to upgrade my drone system. I kind of feel like I want to buy the boarding drone. Shield charge booster, I don't need that. Reconstructive teleport, I don't need that. The charge laser requires 2 to power instead of the charge ion, so it can store up 2 shots. I don't think that's really anything, honestly. It takes 6 seconds for 1 shot and then 12 seconds for 2 shots. That's the same as my burst laser. The only difference is that I can shoot 1 or I can shoot 2. There's really no benefit to that. Because I have the scrap, actually I don't, yeah, I'm gonna buy the boarding drone. The boarding drone basically is, it's a disruptor. It sends him into a system and he just starts wreaking havoc. So I'll buy that, and then we will upgrade our drone thing by 1, which is still pretty cheap at this point. And the energy to go with it. And then I think I'm gonna stop there and keep some of our scrap. We'll spend this once we get further along. If I get to Sector 8 without any more weapons, then I'll upgrade some of these other systems, but we don't want to overspend just yet, because now the stuff is getting a little bit more expensive. When we get to these last shields, it's 180 just for the shields, and then another 70 here. So 180 plus 70, that's all of my scrap. So I need to be extremely cautious about wasting any scrap. I did have stuff that I could sell. I don't think I'm going to worry about that just yet. Another distress quest. They're way too close to. Yeah, I have to get out of here now. I can't risk anymore. I have to pretty much leave here. So there's that. A store. I like that. Hull laser shoots 2. Required power of 2. Charge time is 14. Contemplating. It's a tough decision. I could definitely buy it and replace the missiles, but I like having that missile on there. Well, I know I don't need Firebomb. I'm never going to use the Halberd Beam, and I'm never going to use the Heavy Laser at this point. So let's just sell all that junk. And then see what else was in here. Shoots 2 shots. So I can use it on systemless rooms. That's the big thing. I think I'm going to use it, actually. So I'm going to buy this. And then what I will do, I'm going to get rid of the ion for now. I'm going to keep the hull missile in there. We'll see how these next 2 sectors go. With 3 sets of lasers, all shooting 2. Actually, these shoot 3. So that's 3, 6, 8 laser shots within a matter of a few seconds. I think that's going to be actually pretty helpful. I kept the missiles in there now because I like to have a missile weapon of some sort. I know I got the boarding drone, but I don't know if that bypasses shields or if it can be hit by a defense drone. But by having a missile weapon, it guarantees that if they have a defense drone, I can shoot the missile and then follow it up right away with a hacking and still get that off. That's the important part for getting towards the end when they have defense drones. Alright, so distress and then exit, and we're pretty much out of time. So unfortunately, I left those other guys high and dry. I'm sure they're not going to come back after me. Distraction buoys. that is what? Leaves a false signal at sector start to delay rebels one jump. That's not really anything. I'll probably just end up selling that because I'm so late in the game already. Basically, I'm at the exit. There's another store here, but I can't get to it. If I go to the store, I have to fight, and I don't know that I want to fight a Sector 6 rebel ship at this point. I have full health. I don't want to jeopardize that going into the last final stages here. All right, so I will aid the civilian ship. This will be a good exercise in terms of how well we're doing at this point, because if I can handle this ship, I can handle most of anything in Sector 7. Alright, so they have defense drone. That's what I was saying before. I'm going to test out the boarding drone and see how that actually works. And actually, I didn't have to aim it, so yeah, there's nothing I can do here. So what I will do is I'll let the boarding drone do its thing, and then we're going to just hope that we dodge missile attacks and put everything on there. So we're not using the missiles, which we probably should, but we can't use missiles against this defense drone, so we're kind of out of luck there. Alright, so he shot down my boarding drone. That's kind of what I was thinking was going to happen. So I'm going to throw on the combat instead and hope for a little bit extra. But basically, we're kind of on our own now. He's got his own combat drone. And I barely hit anything. That's disappointing. My hacking is out, so I can't do that now. We'll put 1 point in evasion. And combat drone's doing just fine. I think what I will do, I'm going to put one of my weapons on the shield just to try and keep those down. But basically, his missiles are what's going to hurt me. They already have. I already got 2 points of hull damage, so if he didn't evade everything, I'd be okay. Here comes another missile. He hit my drone thing now, so that's no good. Artillery beam should be coming up. I got a little bit of an edge now, so I took damage, but I do have that hull repair thing, so I should be okay. He's got some pretty good evasion, though. I'm pretty surprised at that because he's dodging a lot of my stuff. But I'm not gonna use any more drones at this point. So that basically tells us that we're okay as far as, you know, our ship is decent, but it's certainly not, well, it's not perfect. So I think the best thing that we could do at this point is probably to invest in these last two for the attack, because having missiles and hacking on that last one would have been probably nice. If we look at the cost here, it's 190 plus another 70, so it's 260. 260 would still leave us with 130, which is reasonable. And actually, I don't even need to spend the full 260 because I can wait one more instance here and just not use drones at that point. So, but that is pretty much a topic for the next video, because guess what? We are off of this sector now. So Sector 7 is the last one before the final showdown, but that is going to be next week. So until then, we'll see you around. Thank you so much for watching this video and supporting my channel. If you like this video, please show your continued support by hitting that like button, and be sure to check out both my YouTube channels for new content all the time. And always remember, peace is a lie, there's only passion. We'll see you next time.